The Symbolism of Horns. The meaning of horn symbolism. Horns are a symbol of connectivity to the spiritual world, symbolically the sun, moon and stars. One horn indicates that connectivity exists. Tassels and baubles mean an enlightened being. Two horns indicates connection to the symbolic sun and moon. Three horns, often used by the jester, is very advanced connectivity, the sun and moon and stars, via one's higher spirit. What sorts of spiritual help are covered? What can they receive and hence achieve? The gift of prophecy, the prophet. The gift of inspiration, the poet or painter. This is a statue representing Ovid. The gift of wisdom and intuition, the seer or hermit. Here we have Plato and Socrates. The gift to diagnose and remedy illness, the healer. The history of the symbolism. The symbolism can be found in Egypt with Hathor. This example is from Khnum in Egypt. But also in Sumeria with Marduk, the bull of Utu. But even though the symbolism appears superficially to derive from India, with the bull and cow symbolism found in Hinduism, Shiva's steed was Nandi, the bull. Twin horns are used by the Gurunsa tribe in Africa. Can be found in Norse helmets as stylized cones. Can be found in the dress of Mongolian shamans in Wensu and elsewhere. Are sculptured in sacred objects such as the Gunnerstrup cauldron and its depiction of Cernunnos. The cauldron is the largest known example of European Iron Age silverwork and was found in Denmark and engraved on the Sutton Hoo helmet. As well as the Viking Hjälmar helmet. And the Växjö helmets at the National Museet, Denmark. Twin horns especially can be found all over Africa and are even used today to indicate royalty on ceremonial occasions. Occasionally they show the sadness of the shaman who has lost his power due to Western influence of war or colonialism. In some countries they are barely noticeable as symbolic horns, even though the shamanic costume has been preserved. And the Western fashion industry, keen to exploit anything they think has a market, but with no understanding of the significance or symbolism, or the correct way of wearing the headdress, have now sadly made it a fashion item. But the twin horn symbolism, when properly applied, is a worldwide symbol with a common meaning, and its meaning can best be understood by using the Egyptian system. The source and the Egyptian mystic system. The Egyptian mystic system used the term UPT to mean the crown of the head. UPT is represented by the picture of a set of ox horns and the door sign AP. In other words, the fontanelle was regarded as the door that opened to the twin tunnels. In the Hindu system it is known as the aperture of Brahma. It is no accident that the skull, particularly of a baby as here, is divided up into 4 plates by the sign of the cross. This was originally what the symbol of the cross meant. At one time the frightening practice of tree panic was intended to keep this pathway to the gods open as one got older and the plates closed. The ox horns and the door yield a word, Yupu Tau, which means messengers or messages, so spiritual input. The addition of the SHU sign means to illuminate, so the doors of enlightenment. The word PR, when added, then means to ascend to heaven. In other words, the twin horns are the symbol of an enlightened person, one who has ascended and is in contact with the gods. Other ways of representing twin horns. This indication of abilities does not have to be represented using the actual horns of an animal. Sometimes it is represented using hair. As a woman's headdress. This is Isabella of Portugal. Or a wimple, and this is Hildegard of Bingen. As bunches, and this is from the Nuremberg Chronicles and shows Judith Holofernes. Or even pigtails, and this is Beryl the Barrel, a fictional character created by David Law, a Scotsman. Horns and the Arans posture. The Arans is a posture that people sometimes unconsciously adopt during spiritual experience. It is not the inaccurate, stylized version you sometimes see clerics adopt. It is ecstasy symbolically shown, arms raised very high, head normally tilted back or forward. The laughing Buddha laughed for a reason. And it may be from this actual unforced posture that all the symbolism ultimately derives, and this is Salvador Dali's Christ of St. John of the Cross. The Cap and Bells by William Butler Yeats. The jester walked in the garden. The garden had fallen still. He bade his soul rise upward and stand on her windowsill. It rose in a straight blue garment. When owls began to call, it had grown wise-tongued by thinking of a quiet and light footfall. But the young queen would not listen. She rose in her pale nightgown. She drew in the heavy casement and pushed the latches down. He bade his heart go to her, and the owls called out no more. In a red and quivering garment, it sang to her through the door. It had grown sweet-tongued by dreaming of a flutter of flower-like hair, but she took up her fan from the table and waved it off on the air. I have cap and bells, he pondered. I will send them to her and die. And when the morning whitened, he left them where she went by. She laid them upon her bosom, under a cloud of her hair, and her red lips sang them a love song, till stars grew out of the air. She opened her door and her window, and the heart and the soul came through. To her right hand came the red one, to her left hand came the blue. They set up a noise like crickets, a chattering, wise and sweet, and her hair was a folded flower, and the quiet of love in her feet.